Hey, welcome back, you guys, to day 7 of 365 Days of Courage. This is Josh, and if you have not been following along, what we're doing every day in 2024 is reading a passage from this book. I picked this up at Walmart. I read the very first page. It is the book of Joshua. I thought it was a sign that I needed to pick it up and read it. The second one is Daily Wisdom for Men. This is actually from last year. But we're going to forget that. We're going to make it, or not from last year. This is from 2 years ago. And then we read a little bit from the Pocket Have 'em All. These books are Christian. I don't pretend to say that I'm Christian, but typically they have a good story to tell, or they have a good message to relay. And these messages, you can take them from a non biblical perspective as well. So if you're not Christian and you want to stay for the have 'em all, just fast forward till you see me pick it up and start reading it. Or if you don't mind, just stick around. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can follow along. You can subscribe to my channel. You can follow the playlist. The playlist will have them all listed in chronological order, so you can start from the beginning. If you're watching on Facebook, this is a public profile, so you can follow along and drop a comment on what you want to see next. This book is obviously not 365 pages, so once these are done, we'll add something else. Once this one's done, rather, we'll add something else to go with these. And if you have comments or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. So let's get started. So today is January 7th. So today is the 7th day of 365s. And we're going to start over here if you're following along on camera or reading with me. Even in doubt, when he saw the strong wind and the waves, he was terrified and began to sink. "Save me, Lord," he shouted. Jesus immediately reached out and grabbed him. "You have so little faith," Jesus said. "Why do you doubt me?" Matthew 14 and 30 through 31. Although this verse is often used as an example of what we shouldn't do, the fact remains Peter was the only one brave enough to get out of the boat in the first place. Without his example, we would not know that joining Jesus and walking on water was even possible. What if Jesus was not being harsh with Peter, but rather he was gentle and perhaps even a little jokingly challenging his friend's doubt? He did not berate Peter, even in correction, even when Jesus was pointing out that his friend had no need to doubt. Jesus was kind. He immediately reached out his hand and caught Peter when he cried for help. Jesus is trustworthy and faithful even in our own doubt. Let's not hesitate to cry out to him for what we need today. Your act of courage is take a step of water walking courage today and ask God to catch you if you begin to sink in doubt. So from a non-biblical perspective, I think it just means to take that chance. You probably have a gut feeling about something that you know you want to do in 2024, but you're scared and you're doubting yourself. Well, this is your sign to push forward. Challenge yourself, do something maybe you're a little uncomfortable with, and push through it. So let's see what Daily Wisdom has to say for us on January 7th. Are you too busy for God? The Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you, about this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son." Genesis 18, 13 through 14. This important exchange between God and Abraham only happened because Abraham made time for God. When Abraham saw the travelers walking in the heat of the day, he dropped everything and humbled himself to care for their needs. Can you imagine how this story would have played out if Abraham and Sarah had decided they already had enough on their plates? The story of God's promise is an invitation to consider how you can make space to notice him, to listen, and to be aware of what's around you. Would Abraham and Sarah have had a chance to hear this message from the Lord if they had focused only on their own concerns for the day? You may feel like your life is full of important tasks and priorities, but taking time to listen to God is essential. Is it possible to be so focused on the good things in front of you that you're missing the message of God or the answer to your prayers? And this one ends with a prayer each day. Lord, help me to stop and listen, waiting patiently for your response to my prayers. And we're just going to read one. The Havamal is the word of the Allfather. It's the words that Odin spoke. This comes from the old Icelandic and Nordic, the Prose Edda and the Poetic Edda. Leaving in the field his arms, let no man go a foot's length forward, for it is hard to know when on the way a man may need his weapon. I have never found a man so wealthy or so hospitable that he refused a gift, or of his property so abundant that he scorned a repayment. Of the property which he has gained no man should suffer need, for the hated oft is spared what for the dear was destined. Much goes worse than is expected. With arms and vestments friends should each other gladden, those which are in themselves most sightly. Givers and requiters are longest friends if all goes well. Now, you guys, some of this stuff is really hard to, a little hard to understand. It's translated from Icelandic or Old Norse. And if you can get through the way it sounds, it really does have a good message, a lot of it. Some of it sounds like gibberish, but some of it really does have a good meaning behind it. That is it for day 7. We will start again tomorrow. If you guys like what I'm doing, hit the like button. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe. If you're watching on Facebook, you can hit that follow button. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you tomorrow.